All right, back here on Chicago Sports Overtime, Tina Nguyen, and it is great to have senior NFL writer Ted Nguyen joining us. Ted works for The Athletic, and all right, Ted, let's jump right into this because the Bears traveled to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles on Black Friday. Both teams 8-3, first place in their respective divisions. Let's talk Bears first because do you think they are a good team, man? Because we've got some naysayers who aren't full believers just yet, but this team, they've won close games. They've got a quarterback that can win them games. Are they for real, though?
I think it depends on how you define for real, because I think they're ahead of schedule when it comes to the rebuilding process. Clearly, Ben Johnson got here, instantly turned around the offense, and this team is winning close games. And it's not by accident. Ben Johnson is really good at adjusting and making second half adjustments, and the numbers show it from first half and second half. They uptick in offense, which means they're making good adjustments and learning what the defense does and countering it. But at the same time, when you're playing all these one-score games, there's a bit of luck involved. And just look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Last year, they won 10 games by one possession. This year, their luck kind of flipped, and they've lost 5 games by one possession. So that kind of luck could flip at any time. But the good news for the Bears is they are winning these games, and they are putting themselves in position to win these games late. And I think that's ahead of where some people thought this team would be in Ben Johnson's first year. And the next step is going to be to win some of these games by a more convincing manner.
Let's talk about this offense, right, and specifically about Caleb Williams. I mean, I do think personally he's managing the game better, right? He's understanding more of Ben's offense overall, but they've got some playmakers. I do think there are times where they are executing at a high level. 11 games in, what have you learned about Ben Johnson's offense?
Yeah, I think they are a lot more aggressive than when he was calling plays for the Detroit Lions. They're trying to go downfield and take advantage of some of Caleb Williams' ability. And when those downfield routes don't open up, they kind of allow Caleb Williams to try to scramble and make some plays outside of structure, which is why his time to throw is so high. But he's been doing a good job of avoiding sack rates because he's taking longer to throw the ball, but his sack rate has plummeted from his first year to his second year. So I think when it comes to Ben Johnson, he's doing exactly what was advertised. He's taken this offense, he's made it explosive. They're second in explosive play rate just to the Colts, and that's really impressive considering what they were last year. So I think Ben Johnson's doing a really good job with this offense, and there's still room to grow because there's still some growing pains. The connection isn't quite where it needs to be with Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams. They're missing some passes together, whether Odunze is dropping the ball or Caleb's just missing him. So once they get in sync, there's a level or two for this offense to go this year, I believe.
What intrigues you most about how Ben's offense has panned out so far in Chicago, especially when it comes to Ben being the play caller here?
Yeah, I mean, you just see so much creativity with the run game. I think the run game is one of the things that really has improved the most. They're third in rushing success rate, first in explosive play rate. You can see how they move guys at the line of scrimmage, but it's also a very creative run game. There's designs here that you don't really see with other teams. You look at the 4th and 1, where Caleb Williams kept the ball on what looked like a speed option, but instead of a speed option, DeAndre Swift went and blocked the end. They got a big play off of that. So I just love the creative designs there. And, I think there's still a step for this offense to take when it comes to running backs and their vision and just maximizing these runs.
Specifically, what are you seeing from the offensive line? Because especially after the bye week, I don't know what Ben Johnson, Dan Rochar gave these group of guys, but this offensive line, really, things started to click more and more. I talked to Darnell Wright in the locker room. He said, we're like the engine, right? We set the tone here. So what are you seeing from the O-line right now?
Well, number one, the guy you just mentioned, Darnell Wright, he's taken such a step. Like, we've always seen that athletic ability and that high-end traits there, but he was just kind of inconsistent with his techniques. He could look great in one play, and the next play he could look really bad. But he's really put it together. He's been more consistent, and he's making the argument that he might be one of the best right tackles in the game right now at such a young age. So he's taken a big step up in his development. Obviously, the Bears did a lot to upgrade that interior. It takes some time to sync when you have that many new starters on offensive line. And now that they have some time together, they have some time in this offense. Wright's taking a step up. That's 4 out of 5 offensive linemen that are playing at a really high level, and that left tackle position will eventually catch up. But I mean, when you have 4 out of 5 playing at a high level, you can kind of hide the weakness in one spot.
What are you seeing out of this Bears rookie class? Kyle Monangai, Colston Loveland, and Luther Burden. Should we all be giving some more credit here?
Yeah, I mean, he's had some good draft classes. I think Luther Burden is starting to make his way into the offense. They started using him as a gadget player early on, but now you can see him running some real routes, running those dig routes in the middle of the field. Colston Loveland, I think some expected him to have a faster start during the season, but he's really starting to ingrain himself in the offense. I think Komet being such a good blocker kind of you don't really want to put Loveland in there to replace Komet because he's so good at run blocking, but you want to use both of them at the same time. But they found a role. Loveland is a really good red zone threat. You can see his receiving ability is starting to come through now. And Monangai, I think he's starting to take over this backfield. You saw it happening slowly, him getting more and more carries, even when DeAndre Swift was healthy. And Swift had that fumble early on, and then it became the Monangai backfield. And I really like his vision and his power and the way he runs the ball with physicality. So right there, you have three guys that could be contributors in this offense for a long time. And anytime you get 3 or 4 starters in one draft class, that's a successful draft class.
Talk to me about how you've seen Ben Johnson utilize DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different than the Thunder and Lightning duo that he had with the Detroit Lions with Swift and Montgomery. It feels like they're trying to find a lead back between those two. Ideally, they would be a little closer to 50-50, but I think just to get a guy into rhythm, you have to keep giving him the ball. So I think eventually Monangai is going to take that role. I just think he has better vision than Swift, and I think Swift has gotten a lot better in the department this season, but I just see so much potential in Monangai that I think eventually he's going to be that lead back.
Let's talk about the Bears defense because we've got some news coming out of Hallis Hall this week with the potential return of Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon this week. Listen, if Tyreek Stevenson is healthy, who takes a back seat here? Because, I mean, Nahshon Wright, he is someone to me has earned the playing time.
No, I agree with you. I was just watching the tape and I was really impressed with how sticky his coverage is. And Tyreek Stevenson is a guy that's always been kind of up and down. If you look at his numbers, he really ranks low as far as yards allowed in zone and man coverage. So to me, I think that's going to be the guy that takes a back seat with Jalen Johnson. And you have Jalen Johnson on one side, and then you have Wright on the other. I think that's a very solid cornerback duo. And right now, they're dealing with a ton of injuries. There's kind of a talent deficit on that side of the ball. But I think they're doing a really good job of just scheming things up, disguising. And once they have 2 solid corners on both sides, you could do a lot more.
What's impressed you most about DA and how he's called the defense this season?
I just love that he's willing to be creative and get into some more exotic disguises, even with guys going in and out of the lineup. I think when you're dealing with that many injuries and young players, sometimes you could shy away and get a little bit more conservative in your scheming. But from day one, you could see him installing some of those more exotic looks into his defense and has gotten progressively more expansive as the season has gone along. Obviously, it's hard to deal with 3 or 4 linebacker injuries, but I think he's still doing a good job with what he has.
Well, listen, if I'm DA, tell me what's the plan when it comes to stopping the tush push, because he said it's not just that play, right, but all the plays that come off of it as well.
Yeah, and they saw one of those plays last week against the Steelers where they'd gotten to a tush-push formation, and then they handed the ball off on a sweep to Kenneth Gainwell that went for 40 or 50 yards. So you have to be careful of that as well. But honestly, with the tush-push, if you don't have a Vita Vea or a really big nose tackle, it's almost impossible to stop. I mean, there's really no answer for it unless you have a lot of beef up front. The Vikings tried something interesting where they had a defensive tackle just lay down horizontally in front of the line of scrimmage to try to roll and create some push that way. So maybe you have to think of some out of the box answers to it. But I mean, it's really hard to stop, and there's a reason why so many NFL coaches want it banned.
That right there is out of the box, no doubt about that. Eagles overall, they are 8-3 on the season, but they have not been as dominant compared to last year. Saquon Barkley, I feel like, needs to get going more. A.J. Brown has certainly expressed some frustration. The team overall blew a 21-point lead against the Cowboys. What's wrong with the Eagles?
Well, their offensive line just is not as dominant as they used to be. They're still a very, very good pass blocking unit. You can see Jalen Hurts has forever to throw back there. But as far as run blocking, they're nowhere close to where they were last year when they were creating a bunch of explosive runs. They've dealt with a ton of injuries since training camp. And now Lane Johnson, who some believe is the best offensive lineman overall in the entire league, is missing games, and he won't be playing against the Bears. So there's a ton of injuries. They just aren't getting the push that they're used to from that line. And Jalen Hurts has some limitations as a quarterback. And when he doesn't have a dominant run game, more gets put on his shoulder, and he just has not handled it well this year. And some of that has to do with the scheme, too. They've lost Kellen Moore to the New Orleans Saints. And Kevin Petula, their current offensive coordinator, he's kind of struggling in his first year as a play caller.
Well, on the defensive side of the ball for Philly, I mean, they've got some really great guys up front. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean, just to name a few. Those guys can certainly limit the run game. And then you've got some good guys in the secondary as well. What kind of challenge will this really present for Caleb Williams and this Bears offense?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, the Bears have been feasting on the ground lately, but it's going to be a whole new challenge with this Eagles front that they have. And they added Jalen Phillips at the trade deadline. And ever since they added him, they've really put up elite numbers. They were stopping everyone. Obviously, the Cowboys went off in that second half. But, they have those two receivers that are so hard to stop on the outside. And that was really the secret. So for the Bears, obviously, you're going to try to get the run game going, but they have to be prepared for a game where the run game isn't producing explosives, and they have to find a way to take advantage of the Eagles secondary. They do have a big weakness at one of their outside corners. Quinyon Mitchell is one of the best corners in the league, but when they are a nickel and Cooper DeJean has to play in the slot, they have a big weakness on outside corner that you can't take advantage of, and I'm sure Ben Johnson will have that matchup highlighted.
Well, Ted, one final question before I let you go. The Bears are 8-3 right now. Listen, do you think they make the playoffs this year?
Yeah, I mean, at 8-3, you put yourself in such a good position already. It's just a matter of not fumbling down the stretch. So I think if they win 2 or 3 more games, they're going to be in the playoffs. And I mean, I thought the world of Ben Johnson before he took this job, but if he gets the Bears in the playoffs in his first year, what a successful first year that is.
Bears with their toughest challenge yet on Friday when they take on the Eagles. Ted Nguyen, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.